BTL coming at you. Good Tuesday, everybody. Welcome once again to BTL Bass Talk Live, where we're going to talk bass fishing and anything else that we want to talk about. Matthew, how you doing?
Good. Had time. I actually went back and re-listened to the show that we did with Kellen Ellis yesterday, the author of the basically the guy who exposed Mike Long in the video and article. And man, there's some little gems in there. There's some cool stuff. I went back. I really liked that part where he pulled his buff up and walked right past the guy that he was about to bust. I mean,
the dude never said a word to him.
He's an interesting character, wouldn't you say, Mark?
Yeah.
He's very calm.
Yeah.
Way chill.
Yeah.
And obviously pretty smart based on how he wrote and the verbs that he used and the way that he did the whole thing. So I know of several people that I know that I'm friends with that aren't really big into fishing, that were just kind of enthralled with that story.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I guess if you look at it, you know, if you have a guy who's dedicated that much time to catching someone in any athletic or work endeavor or anything, I mean,
they get obsessed.
Yeah, there's some interesting elements in there that transcend fishing.
Yeah.
And this just so happened to be fishing. But then I ended up getting off on a tangent of Googling all the past tournament cheaters that I could find.
How many did you find?
Like 12 to 15. I mean, there's like an Arkansas big bass one where the guy had to like give the money back in like 2010, and he like gave $86,000 to his buddy in need, and then it turned out to be fake. And then, you know, I found news articles from the guys at Gunnersville, and then obviously the Robbie Rose deal all around Texas, which he was kind of like the Mike Long of Texas for a while. And then I went back and tried to find, I could not find a single piece of video from Tony Christian. There's nothing. There's no weigh-ins. There's nothing.
I know.
And I was looking at his stats, which were amazing.
I know.
So anyway, I got off on that tangent just based on the guest yesterday.
All right. What else?
No, and then I was like, dude, we had the fish, the 20-pound, 12-ounce, like the mount in studio with the photo that you used. So anyway.
That was cool stuff. Very, very cool. All right, good show today. We're going to have Major League Fishing. See, I got that right. MLF, BPT, Angler, Professional. Jeff Sprague on live via Skype here just in a few minutes. I want to get to something that happened last week when we were gone. And did you know about this? I did not know about it until somebody sent me a text about something that took place on the Kentucky River. Did you hear about this?
There's a Kentucky River?
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a Kentucky River, to be honest with you.
It involves alcohol. Did you not hear about this?
No.
There was a massive fire at the Jim Beam warehouse, distillery. I don't know what it was. I think it was a warehouse. And there were about, what was the estimate? Like 1.6 million gallons of alcohol that went into the river. Well, guess what happened to the river?
It poisoned it?
Yeah, it got polluted. And guess what kind of fish were dying?
Bass.
No.
Carp.
Yes. Thousands of them, because they were suffering from alcohol poisoning, or the oxygen levels in the water because of the alcohol.
Really? So how long does that take to dilute?
I don't know, but I actually watched, and because we have Jeff on live via Skype, there's a video out there from one of the local news stations that talk about how this is really going to impact the community, because I guess this was one of the best places to go bow fishing for Asian carp.
And they killed Asian carp?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, Kentucky Lake.
That's what I'm saying, okay? And then the guy that they interviewed was one of the bow fishing guides, and he was just destroyed. He was crushed.
Oh, that sucks.
Because,
for him.
Yeah, this is how he just bought a brand new boat to bow fish in.
Oh, there's a lake in Kentucky that they could go do the same thing at.
He built his business about bow fishing for Asian carp.
Wow. Along those same lines, I do believe that Mark Menendez is currently in Washington, D.C., speaking with lawmakers about the Asian carp situation on Kentucky Lake.
Just pour liquor in there.
Yeah, we might have to have him on after he gets back. One of our most viewed BTLs of the past year was when he came on and really talked about the issues that are going on the TVA.
Yeah, so check that out. Quite the interesting story. I had no idea. And I could be wrong on the number of gallons that went into the river, but it was a significant amount that killed thousands of fish on the Kentucky River. Where is the Kentucky River? I don't even know where it is.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. Look it up real quick. Where's it at?
Where is it? No, end of sentence and a preposition mark.
Yeah, I'm not doing a thesis here.
Hold on. Let me just open up the maps there.
I would think it's in Kentucky, although the Arkansas River is in Oklahoma. You there yet?
Yeah. I mean, I pulled it up and it's like...
Does it go into the Tennessee River?
Richmond and Lexington.
Does it flow into the... No?
I don't know. I got to follow it.
Okay.
I'm sure we can Google it up afterwards. But yeah, it exists. There's the Kentucky River.
It didn't look very bassy. It looked very carpy.
I don't know. The part that I'm looking at has some laydowns.
At least on the news report that I saw.
There you go. It's
very
pretty
interesting.
Windy, but I mean, Kentucky is windy.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. So there you have it. All right. We are getting ready. We're going to have our guest on here just in a few minutes. And we got into the discussion prior to the show about some of Jeff Sprague's stats, Matthew. And you were asking me, is he one of the top 10 guys in the game right now? Is that the question you asked? Right. Is that how you phrased it?
Yeah, I said, where do you put Jeff Sprague in the world right now? Top 10?
Yeah. And then you started, I initially said no, and then you started to reel off some of his stats that I just were not aware. I knew he was rock solid.
Easy stats. He had the 2 years in FLW. He finished 4th and 6th. He made 3 consecutive cups. But I mean, the past, and I kind of want to get into these with him because I don't think he has any idea. I mean, he's fished 22 tournaments between 2 different Costa divisions, Costa Championships, Forest Wood Cup, the 2018 FLW Tour season, and then the 8 MLF events. Now, we won't know how he does in the 3 cups that he qualified for. He finished 2nd. I don't think he didn't even make the final cup because he finished 30th and 49th in the last 2 BPTs, but we won't know how he does in those other 3 cups. And then he obviously has Red Crest, so he has fished in 1 cup, which it was filmed in the dark.
Almost $100,000 in earnings.
Yeah, for this year. And then there's 2 more cups in the Red Crest. So his year's not even done. Who knows what he's going to jackpot Costa-wise. I mean, he does really well on Grand. There's one coming up on that. There's an Open on Grand. There's Lake the Ozarks. So, but yeah, he's fished 22 tournaments since 2018. And I mean, I would stack his up against anybody right now, with the exception of like Edwin.
I would agree. He is top 10 right now.
How many top 12s do you think he's got out of those? He has 11 top 12s out of those 22, and you have to remember a lot of that's in 150-plus bow fields.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he has 19 top 50s out of 22.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
good stuff,
including
man.
A lot, and he's got almost $200,000 in earnings, $193,000.
On the FLW side?
No, this is just since in the last 18 months.
Oh, okay.
Since January 1, he's averaging over $10,000 a month.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That really is.
And
so,
then, 8 of those events,
no
entry fees.
Yeah, I think he is. Definitely, probably, right now, one of the top 10 guys in the world.
Which is crazy because he hasn't even been doing this 8 years. He literally was fishing as a co-angler 8 years ago.
I remember that.
Like his first year was in the Costas, it was in like 2012.
Hell, I remember the first time that you wanted to get him on the show, and I was like, who's that?
Yeah. This is his 8th year fishing as a boater.
Yeah.
That's not that long.
Not really. Not really.
I mean, it's not like he didn't fish beforehand. I mean,
how'd you get to know him?
Fish and chips.
Is that what it was?
He was hanging out with Crete.
Yeah. That's right.
But that's not the reason why we had him on. Why we're having him on.
Today.
Right. We could have him on to talk about it. No. I'm interested to see how
there was quite the developing situation that took place that we just want to get some answers.
I want to bring this up. This is, God, I'm into like the human element of things lately for the last 2 days, because we talk about like how the story perpetuates. You know, the Mike Log thing can last so long, but now we're going to get into we're going to get into what it appears like on the surface. I lost some respect for Jeff Sprague watching the last day of the MLF Bass Pro Tour that he competed in. Because here's the perception. The guy doesn't want a camera in his boat. He loses control. He snaps a rod with 5 minutes left. That tells me he doesn't understand the sponsor game and he can't handle pressure. Is that not what it appeared like on the surface?
You were all about the emotional. Maybe
I am all about
he's
the emotional.
Celebrating his frustration.
I'm saying on the surface.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. And I thought, boy, I thought he got it better than that. I'm saying on the surface. So what did I do?
Dude, it's raw emotion.
I agree.
That's what you talk about all the time.
I can't believe this is some weird reversal of deals.
It really
here.
is. It really is.
Okay, but that was I'm saying, if you just watch it and you don't know anything, that's what came across to me. Right?
So he was showboating.
No, he wasn't showboating.
He was frustrated.
I said he doesn't understand the sponsor game because, according to Marty Stote, he didn't want a camera in his boat on the day when he was trying to win Angler of the Year. And then he lost control and snapped a rod with 5 minutes left. That's what it looked like. And I'm like, geez, I thought he was like had it all together.
We're going to set the record
straight. So I
straight.
just walked up to him at ICAST.
Yeah.
And we're going to set the record straight. But this is how like stuff starts and stuff. Like you just go straight to the source, and it's an interesting story behind the scenes.
No, I agree. All right, you ready to take a break?
Let's take a break.
Come back with him. He's going to be live via Skype. Anything else, man? Anything else happen? That was a great show yesterday. It really was. I was just intrigued with everything that Kellen described in the progression through everything that he did to get to the point of putting that story together.
No, I mean, we are actually in a lull now. There's really not much going on.
Think so?
There's a
post
Champlain, Costa, and that's about it. Yeah, post. And then there's an open on the James River. Kind of goes up north now. So I mean, we got a little bit of a break here. Your eye's looking better. Well, no, it's not.
No, it's not. I'm going to the eye doctor, 1:30.
Oh,
today.
You made an appointment for that?
Yeah, it's starting to bother me a little bit. So I don't know if I got something in there. I thought it was a blood vessel. I don't know. We'll see. All right, coming back with Jeff Sprague live via Skype. Everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Sleek new design with easy control file. The clearest images underwater with uncompromising range. Live mapping from the touchscreen. View notifications, video, even Google Maps on screen. And for the first time ever, real-time view of fish movements with live sight sonar. HDS Live. New from Lowrance.
I got my power pole down, stuck in the mud in the bottom of the lake, sitting so still in the wind and the waves, could even be a hurricane. I got my power pole down.
AFCO has a new foul weather rain suit called the Hydronaut. A lot of the features that I really like about it first is the speed vent hood. If it's raining out, you know how a person gets wet is when you run down the lake and the hood comes down. With the speed vent hood, it's going to stay up. It has a camera mount in the pocket on the chest. The Hydronaut has a 2-layer, 100% waterproof nylon shell. If you're interested in a rain suit that has a lot of cool features that's going to keep you dry, you need to check out the Hydronaut from AFCO.
Aaron Martins here. I'm going to be telling you about a new product by Sunline. It's Siglon PE x8. I've been using it almost extensively all year for my frogging, flipping, drop shotting, shaky heading, worming, jerk baiting. It's by far my favorite Sunline braid. I honestly, this is, I don't say this unless I think it's true, but honestly, it's the best braid in the market of any of the braids. Definitely check it out. It's a price point line, $14.95 for 165 yards, and that could last you a whole year, just one spool with using leader material. It's Siglon PE x8. It's my favorite braid, and I think if you use it, it'll be your favorite braid too.
Blue Water by TH Marine, offering LED lighting solutions for your boat, trailer, truck, ATV, and so much more. Engineered and built to be rugged with waterproof and submersible options. Designed for easy installation, Blue Water is available in a variety of colors and styles. All backed by a limited lifetime warranty. Blue Water by TH Marine.
All right, we are back on a Tuesday, and we are getting ready to go to our special guest live via Skype, Mr. Jeff Sprague. And are you fishing this weekend?
No.
When's the last time you went out?
I'm gonna go do a little filming this weekend.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go from doing a little filming to go doing a little more filming. Can I tell where I'm going?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I'm going to the Bass Cat. I'm going to the Bass Cat dealer meeting.
Yeah.
Putting together some highlight footage there, and that's in Arkansas, I believe.
Branson,
Missouri.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're having it
that's
in
not
Branson.
bad. Oh, that's nice. Maybe we can catch a show.
Really? What kind of show would you go see, Matthew?
Is Yakov still there?
I don't know.
Is it Dollywood there?
No, that's in Nashville or Tennessee
I think
somewhere.
they have a Ripley's Believe It or Not there.
That I think they do have. I don't know.
So then I'll be in Alabama Thursday through Saturday.
Yeah.
And then drive to Branson and do that until Tuesday.
All right.
So no.
Full plate, man.
I'm sure there might be a little bit of fishing thrown in there, but
All right. Full plate. All right, let's go to our guest, Jeff. You there, man?
I am.
How you doing today?
I'm good. Good morning, guys.
Oh, you got the fancy truck with the sunroof.
Oh, I pulled over so I could talk to you guys. Didn't want to drive in Skype. Not too safe.
That's like a platinum edition there. If you got the sunroof in the truck,
It's the high country. This is our office. As much time as we spend on the road, so you might as well have something decent.
Camel leather for the seats.
Camel. I think this is exotic camel.
Jeez, kangaroo skin, whatever, Matthew. All right, Jeff. We wanted to get you on the show for a lot of reasons. One, just a great season on the BPT. Almost $100,000 in earnings. You finished second in the Angler of the Year standings and really set yourself up very well for the Red Crest and then the 3 Cup events, I believe, of which one has already taken place. So there's 2 remaining. But, man, just a great season for you.
Yeah, phenomenal start to the Bass Pro Tour with Major League Fishing. Really enjoyed the format and the atmosphere surrounding that. It's unlike anything I've ever been a part of, and it's super fun. That's to get it started, to be honest.
Well, I could give a crap whether you're catching 5 or how many you're catching. I'm just going to look at the results, which are tournament finishes. So you split it. I mean, we've got your record for 8 of the BPT events, and then obviously your 2018 FLW Tour season, the Cup, and then the Costas. And I was going back through and talking with Jeffries before the show, and I was like, dude, do you realize this guy? He's fished 22 tournaments since 2018, 19 top 50s, 11 top 12s, qualified for a Red Crest. 3 of the Cups this year, an FLW Cup in 2018, the Costa Championship, 2nd place in the Costa Southwestern Division in the points, and 2nd place in the Bass Pro Tour AOY, and that's in the past 16 months, with earnings in those 22 tournaments of $193,412. And this is like your 8th year fishing as a boater. Like, that's not that long in this sport, in the longevity of this. You are way ahead of the curve.
You know, I'll be honest with you, Matt. I had no idea. I've not looked back at anything and done any of that. So I thank you for making light on that. It's been
speechless.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster. You know, fishing is a roller coaster, and we have a saying: you're only as good as your last event. And if you finish, second, then you feel like you finished second. And if you finish 50th, you feel like you're at the bottom of the pack. So it's really it's a lot of hard work that's gone into that, and a lot of things that come together for that to all happen. So I'm beyond blessed for sure.
We can get right into it then?
Get into it, Matthew.
All right, let's get into it. We brought it in before he came in and talked a little bit about it. I think Sprague was on the line and he heard it, so I won't rehash the whole thing. But I basically want to revisit the last day of the Bass Pro Tour season. And I've talked about this in a previous show. One of the things I really like about the final day format with the 10 cameras in the boat, and everybody knowing where they're standing. And this is where it worked out, because you knew where Edwin was, where he had finished, and what you had to do and where you stood. It had never been done before in an Angler of the Year race, which a lot of you guys value as more important than a championship. Would you agree, Jeff? I mean, if you ask the 80 guys, how many of them you think would rather win the Angler of the Year than the Red Crest?
I think that a majority would probably rather have the Angler of the Year crown, simply because it's a complete year. You were the best angler that year. That's a pretty big accomplishment. It's a great accomplishment.
So it comes down to basically a row of docks for your season for the Angler of the Year. And you're in, and you're on the cut line, and you're out, and then you're back in. Then it starts slipping away a little bit with like 5 or 10 minutes left, whatever. You catch one, it weighs 14 ounces. You have an angler who's pulled in ahead of you half an hour before. We were watching this. It's all going down. You're like, oh, he needs a 14 ounces. Now he needs 1.5 pounds. Now he needs 3 pounds. Now he's pissed. And you could see all this happening. And then, bam, you snap the rod with the foot.
Well, okay. So, I mean, here's the deal. Obviously, I know what I have in front of me. I know what's on the line. And that whole rod snap deal, which we're jumping the gun a little bit, but the whole rod snap deal, which I don't guess you guys could see from where you were setting, was I've actually broke that rod on that hook set of that fish, okay? And there's probably 15 inches of it at the tip as I'm getting that fish in the boat and trying to get him. It's slapping me in the face, and it's all around, and I'm trying to reel it up. And once I get the fish off and realize it's not scoreable, I start trying to wind the rod back up, and it's all hung up and wrapped around. And we've all broke 14, 15 inches out of the tip of a rod before. And yeah, I was frustrated, but it's just easier at that point for me to just go ahead and make that 2-piece rod into a short 2-piece rod and to stow it in the bottom of my boat versus try to let it flop around everywhere. If anyone listening to this show has never had an emotion, has never lost a big fish or had had something like that, then you know what? I'm sorry for you not having that emotion, but I am passionate about bass fishing. I'm passionate about what I do. And, it wasn't like an out of control moment. I've heard it already described about out of control, but I don't foresee someone breaking a rod that was already broken to make it fit better. Out of control moment. I have emotions. You guys have emotions. One thing may be more emotional to me than it might be to you, but that's ultimately the story. So the rod was already broken. And as I was trying to reel it up, it had already been slapping me in the face. And I wasn't gonna be able to use the rod ever again. It was already nothing but a pull cue. And so I made it fit into the bottom of my boat easier by snapping it into a smaller piece.
So as we open the show with, reality changes your perception of what I originally thought of that. I said, okay, that makes total sense. So now that might have actually gotten you a couple extra casts instead of messing with it and untangling it. Boom. Unusable 100%. Thing. It's not like he had a $400 rod that he just did a fit of rage, just Bo Jackson did at the bottom of the boat.
No, that rod was no longer ever going to be used by me. I could donate it to someone and they wouldn't be able to use it. So, it was just, was it a frustration deal? Yeah, a little bit, but it wasn't I didn't just break a perfectly good rod because I caught a 14-inch bass. I've never broke a rod over my leg in my entire life that was perfectly usable just because I was having a bad moment. Now I've seen that done, and to me, it's comical. It's funny. It does nothing but cost the guy who broke it money, meaning he has to pay for it or whatever. And now you got to re-rig. But to me, that wasn't seen. And obviously there was not a camera in my boat to be able to see that was broken. And so I understand the misconception there for sure.
All right, let's give you an opportunity. There was a lot of discussion. I know Matt and I were talking about it, and I know several other people were discussing it about the situation with the camera. And rather than try and speculate on what happened, part of the reason that we wanted you on the show was to explain the situation, why a camera was not in your boat. So the floor is yours, Jeff.
So the whole camera situation was, with the way Nino fished, was super, super shallow. The way I was fishing, and I was moving around a lot. Unfortunately, that lake, we were all forced to fish one side of the lake, all the same water. All the anglers are just rotating on top of one another. I'm not that kind of an angler. You can check, with the exception of one event, I didn't fish around anyone. I like to find my own water, do my own thing. I'm not let me go find a group of boats and get in there. And so I like to move around a lot until I get away or until I find something. And I have absolutely no problem pulling my trolling motor and looking for new stuff during the event, which I did at Nina. But the deal is with the camera, unless you've been up there and you wouldn't understand, if anyone can understand the ocean, okay, there's bars that you have to idle over to get into these against the bank that has a little washout, kind of like where an undertow creates in the ocean, right up next to the bank where it drops off. That's where the fish were actually getting. And a guy would be able to idle in there and get that, and then only have maybe a couple 100-yard stretches before another boat he would meet coming at him, and now you're fishing used water. I don't have confidence. I don't like to fish used water. I like to fish new water, and I like to do my own thing. So when you put a camera guy and you put his camera and everything in your boat, and you put a boat official and his gear in your boat, and then you're loaded, you're now drafting way deeper. I don't know what Edwin was doing. I don't know where. I did not watch. We can't watch live. I can't keep up with any of that. So I never got to see or knew what Edwin did, and still haven't watched a single part of that episode because what's past is past, and I really like to concentrate on the future. So I made an agreement with Major League Fishing, Bass Pro Tour, that I wouldn't have a camera for the first portion of the morning, or for the first, just till I got out, and then they would have a camera in my boat. I ran some water first thing that morning, had a few bites, did okay, and then I was going to start running to the areas where other anglers were, and I didn't know exactly where I would be. So I ultimately round up. The wind is blowing out of the south, 20, 25, I don't know. It was
pretty windy that day.
It was dangerous. I'll be honest with you. It was a dangerous situation. I ran across the entire lake, okay? I ran from one side to the other. beat my boat, beat myself. Unfortunately, my boat official was a trooper. I didn't want to hurt him. If I had a camera at that particular, I would have felt that there's no doubt in my mind that I possibly could have torn up Major League Fishing's camera just trying to get to the other side of the lake so I could get away from what I felt like boat pressure. All right. I get over there, I start fishing. And this is into the second period now, and I'm making a move. And as I'm idling out across a bar, the camera boat is idling to me to come and get into my boat. I just tell them, hey, as I'm idling past them, like, just follow me. And that's exactly what I say. Follow me to the next spot. I run, get to the next spot. No camera boat. They didn't come. So I keep fishing, start to catch a few fish. Another boat comes in. I'm assuming it's them bringing my camera boat or my camera to my boat. So I wave them in on the break. I'm like, hey, you guys, come on, get in the boat. Now's a great time. And it's not a camera boat. It's a drone crew. So I was waiting for the camera to come, and it never came. I mean, it's nobody's fault. I'm not going to blame anyone on Major League Fishing or anyone on that side. We've had this discussion with both Major League Fishing and myself as far as how things were miscommunicated. And my boat official he also, said, hey, I waved the camera boat in to come. I told him to follow me. And I just think that there was some frustration there on the production side of it. And it was so windy and so wavy that they couldn't keep sending a camera across that way off that lake, because if anyone's been to the Great Lakes that's listening to this show understands these are not normal waves. This is not normal wind. We're talking about you drive inside of a wave and you don't see bank on either side of you, and then you drive up and over. We're talking about serious, you can lose your boat if you're not careful.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like they didn't want to take that chance. Maybe I don't know what the case may be, but that's kind of how it went down. And eventually that afternoon, a camera did catch up to me because I was stationary in an area for an extended period of time, an hour and a half, which was rare for me. And they ultimately had a camera on the outside of me come in and follow me, and was able to film what you guys got.
Yeah. So conditions and miscommunication all resulted in that. Yeah.
100%. And in no way, and I think that even with Marty Stone, I'm a huge Marty Stone fan, nothing but the most respect. I'll take the good comments that he's given and praise along with the bad that he came forward with at that event. And I feel like maybe he had some bad information and didn't truly understand, or was maybe just received one side of it and didn't exactly get to, because I'm on the water, I can't defend myself. I'm just fishing, trying to make something happen for myself. That's a big moment in my life. It's a big moment in my career. And in no way would I ever want to take that away from Bass Pro Tour, Major League Fishing, or my sponsors or my family. I've worked very hard to get to that point. I've worked hard to get to where I am in fishing. And for as much judgment to be come down as has come down for that one day of fishing, I'm a little disappointed, personally, because I feel like I've held myself to nothing but the highest standard of professionalism in bass fishing from day one. And I had a bad day, 100%. Did I want to win Angler of the Year? Absolutely. But I felt like it was easy to portray someone as, just whether it was immature, a hothead, and that's fine. Negative publicity is good publicity. I'll take that too, but ultimately I want to catch bass, guys. I want to be a fisherman. The television and the notoriety of catching bass, that comes with it, and I'm learning that part of it, because where I came from, you guys well know, we didn't have that platform. I didn't have. If I caught bass, I got my check and I went about my business. There was nobody there with a camera and a microphone in your face constantly wanting to talk about it, And so that's a little new to me, but that's fun. I enjoy that. That's not a downfall, and I think it's great to share with everyone that's wanting to be a part of it, and with the fans and with you guys and with everybody that wants to be involved. So there's a lot that goes into that. And I have a lot in the utmost respect for everyone that's involved in this, from the boat officials to Boyd to Gary Klein, to these guys that, that I've ultimately grown up watching, looking up to. And I've learned a lot about bass fishing in the past 8 months, being a part of this, more than I could explain in a couple hours of sitting here speaking.
All right. Your entire career, was that situation probably the most pressure packed situation that you've had in your fishing career? And how would you describe what you were feeling? Not just when that whole situation took place.
Just being in the hunt.
Yeah.
Ultimately, absolutely, that was the most pressure that I've ever felt in bass fishing. And I think that anyone who ever gets to experience that will feel the same way. And was I ready for that amount of pressure? I don't know, because I wasn't truthfully thinking about it until, the week of. And once the week of arrived, and the phone calls and the texts and the emails and the more phone calls came, and hey man, this is your time, and you just need to make it happen, and you got it, you don't start thinking about it. And it's like, Edwin, he's the best, but you can do it. And I'm like, so people start, you go from, because I'm not really I don't look at stats. I don't look at I don't Google who's done what and where they finished last time they were here. Heck, I thought that Edwin had never even been to Neenah. Come to find out, somebody told me Edwin had been there multiple times, had great finishes there, loved the place, and was disappointed in the way it was fishing. I did not know that. I've done multiple interviews telling everyone that I thought it was a great opportunity for me and Edwin to go head to head, because I had never been there and he had never been there. So, I mean, I'm ignorant. I'll be honest with you guys. I have no clue. I mean, I'm like, that's how I don't research like that and try to pick it apart, because I feel like I start thinking into it too much. So, like, just to get an insight on me, I mean, I like to go and fish the moment. Because I don't like to have a preconceived notion of what the lakes are going to be like. I don't go and pre-practice the lakes. I don't go and spend a month at a time. I don't watch every YouTube video. I can only do what I know how to do. And I think that works for me. So other things work for other individuals. I know there's guys that watch every YouTube video. They subscribe to every local fishing derby result that they can, so on and so forth. That doesn't work for Jeff Sprague. So I do my own thing, and if it works for me, great. So it's just, it was a unbelievable amount of pressure that I wasn't ready for. And I think, honestly, guys, that had I taken the pressure a little bit throughout the month coming up to that, or a few weeks leading up to that event, I probably would have handled that part of it a little bit better mentally. But I feel like just that week of that event, that truthfully, that's when it all really hit me, that how big of a moment this is, how much is riding on this, and how much that will change your life and your career. Because obviously second places are a big thing for me. I mean, second places, it just seems like everything I can do is second place. And as you all know, second place seems to be the first loser. Nobody really remembers who finished second. They just always remember who won. So that's and that in a nutshell is kind of the raw emotion side of it that it all went into.
I like it. And like I said, because you're able to know what you needed and how it did, that was more of a golf conversation. How many times have I listen to PGA Tour golf on XM all the time, and they always talk about the young guys, that can play, and they've got to get a few of those final rounds when they're in contention under their belts before they can move on to win those majors. And they go back and they're like, look at this tournament and this tournament, and all those experiences led up to the birdie on 18 to win the Masters. When they look back at, like at Spieth and things like that, and it kind of brings it to the fishing now, because that pressure was where you're one down going into 18 and you need a birdie and you hit it in the sand trap. Now you're in that position in the future. You're going to be able to compartmentalize. You're going to be able to relearn from what happened this year. The other thing that I thought was real interesting, Jeff, and I had never heard anyone really say this in a bass fishing interview. Was after the season, MLF on the Major League Fishing website, Mason Prince did a nice little wrap up of your season, and a lot of guys don't like to talk about other guys. Oh, I'm just going out and fishing against the fish and let the chips fall where they may. And you said this. You said it's intimidating going up against him. And you're talking about Edwin there. And this is kind of what you just said. I would be lying if I said it wasn't. The more people recognize you, root for you, and tell you how big of a deal the race against Edwin Evers was, it makes it that much more intimidating.
Sure.
At the end, it was really fun, and it was the most competitive thing I've ever been a part of. But and based on what you just said and that, I mean, that's kind of cool to understand. That's a unique pressure that no one has ever been in. Very rarely you'll have a guy who says, okay, you have to finish above 35th in this tournament to win Angler of the Year. We've seen that before, where the other guy's out of it. But it's never been that kind of fluid motion thing where it's like, if you catch a 3-pounder, you are going to be the Angler of the Year. So it was fun to watch, which is, I guess, what you're going for in the end. It just sucks that someone's got to be the guy who finishes second, like you said.
Yeah, and I mean, it's still a great accomplishment. And a quick run back to the whole, the breaking of the rod thing. So something that you guys don't know is I lost a 3+ pounder 10 minutes before that, lost another 1.25 pound bass, another 10 minutes before that. And then I had literally just lost one on the dock before and then caught that fish.
And then the camera boat pulls up.
And then the camera boat pulls up. Those are just things that most people don't understand. The only person that was a part of that was my boat official. Now, had they had a camera in my boat, maybe I would have had a little more, sympathy from people that were watching and been like, oh, but honestly, there's no one to blame there. I'll take all the blame. I'm not going to put anything on the production crew. I just feel like that they, that maybe at some point it was, they just threw their hands up and they weren't gonna go any, they weren't gonna chase anymore. They weren't gonna attempt it because they thought that I really didn't want a camera in my boat, when that was the furthest thing from the truth, because I actually had waved the camera in my boat and I was waiting for them to bring it, and ultimately it was the drone crew, and it was a bad communication deal, and I feel horrible about it, and I'm sure they wish they had the camera in my boat. I caught the big bass of the tournament at Neenah. You guys, I mean, I caught a 5-pounder up there, and that was big bass for the event, big bass for the day, and big bass over. So they didn't get that either. I tore up 2 props and a lower unit and a skeg in Neenah at the last event of the season. And guys, that's the last event of the season. That's frustrating for a guy to do that. You know how much a prop costs. We don't get props free. I pay $500 a piece for a prop.
I would like to revert back to $193,412 in the past 18 months and 22 tournaments, or an average of $10,700 a month.
But Matthew, but what I'm saying is it doesn't matter how much money you have. You don't want to tear things up. You don't like to, and it's frustrating. It doesn't matter if it's a $180 rod or if it's a $500 prop or if it's a $4,000 lower unit. I'm not there to tear my, and I feel like, that, my hat's off to Edwin. Awesome. I'm so happy that, I was a part of him being able to win Angler of the Year. I wish I could have pulled it off. I'm sure he would say the same thing, but one of the best competitors in bass fishing, and if you're going to lose it to that. And it just, you can always say it wasn't yours meant to be, but a lot of times this year things have gone right for me. I've caught big fish. I've made adjustments and things that save me from bad day one and then catch them on day two. And just, it's just a matter of, it wasn't my time. I've had this opportunity now 3 times in my career to have an Angler of the Year title in one way, fashion, or form. And I just pray it's not the last time. And I was humbled to be there, and I was just, I look forward to getting back out there and trying to get some of this negativity behind me.
All right, one more thing, we're putting it to bed. I see a Steve Kennedy swim bait, a Zell rolling line ball, Jordan Lee live well water, a broken cull tag from Wesley Strader when he won. Do you still have that broken rod or any piece of that broken rod?
Yeah, I got that sucker,
I want that behind me in the BTL studio.
Yeah.
Because I think this is a great piece of history.
Absolutely.
Is that something that we could end up with that in the BTL studio?
So I tell you what I'll do is I'll pack it up and I'll bring it to Mountain Home, Arkansas later this week when I go to Bass Cat. You're going to be up that way, and I'll make sure you get it.
Yeah, I mean, I paid $5 for it. In
You
all
did.
honesty.
In fact, this year. Let me share because I know we have before. Matthew fished against me at a Costa at Lake Amistad, and it was the opening Costa of the year, and he wanted to bet. I think he wanted to bet like $100.
No, I wanted to go $1, I think.
Yeah, and hang on, guys, I got a
You got a phone
I got a call here. I got a
You froze
Yeah, I
in an
gotta
awesome
decline
face,
that.
though. That's pretty funny.
hang on. Hang on. Did I get you guys back yet or no?
Not yet.
No, you're still frozen, but it's a great face. Now you're completely gone.
Hang on.
Hit the
Don't hang
video.
up.
No, we can hear you fine.
Okay, I'm putting it back on. How
Oh,
about that?
perfect. All right.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I dropped it because I was trying to decline a phone call.
Yeah, back to your
Okay.
victorious.
But so Matthew won. I wouldn't bet him 100 or 20. Just
I wanted to bet
$5 because
$1.
I got his $5.
That was before I did the stats. I would not have done that in hindsight.
Hey, I have a couple more questions, Jeff, and then we're going to let you go. One, what would you consider your home lake?
Truthfully, my home lake is Lake Tawakoni.
Really?
Yes, sir. I say Lake Fork because everyone knows Lake Fork. I grew up at Fork too, but I ultimately cut my teeth on Lake Tawakoni. That's where I was just a barefoot little redneck kid running around the banks of Lake Tawakoni in a bass tube, catching everything I could catch off the bank.
Isn't Tawakoni where they had that PAA where those dudes caught him on the lateral perch, like back in the
Yeah.
Man,
2009 or 10 or something?
Yeah, yep, that's exactly right.
And
You
then
got it.
everyone went out and bought a lateral perch. I don't think it's caught a fish since then.
Yeah.
I would have to agree with that as well.
The biggest thing that I remember about Tawakoni, this was like 30 years ago. We were on a fork trip, and it was a dry county, and I don't even know if it's still dry, but you had to go to the next town to get an adult beverage, or to get many adult beverages back then. But there was guys that were catching stripers that were just massive stripers out of that lake. Did you ever do that, Jeff?
Oh, 100%. Grew up catching those big stripers.
Yeah.
They had a big die-off. We had a big die-off, and a lot of the big ones are gone. But now we have giant blue cat, high-fin blues. And we still have a lot of hybrids, still have some striper. It's a great bass fishing lake. It just doesn't get the notoriety that Fork does because it's next to Fork. It's bigger than Fork. My brother actually caught a 14 there this last spring, and it was the new lake record. So they do live there. I go there often, and it's just that's my home. I just feel at peace there.
That's cool.
Yep.
That's
All right.
really cool.
I mean, I know you got a bunch of sponsors that you were at ICAST with, but as sponsor neutral as possible, some stuff that impressed you from ICAST.
The only thing guys, I don't get a chance to walk around ICAST, to be honest with you, when I was there, just shoot you guys straight. We are scheduled booth to booth to booth to booth. Like, we have to work while we're there. I did not honestly get a lot of time to walk around and look at any new products. So, Matthew, with the exception of the trolling motors, I'm looking forward to seeing what those are capable of doing to change bass fishing a little bit and to have some more competition in the market. I'm at a loss because I really, we had some good things come out at Strike King. We had, with their whole line of Ned Rig stuff, and then same thing with LaRue. They have LaRue, which is a sponsored bait, but they also have a new head out that's really great deal.
Oh, is that the pig head thing?
Yes, the pig head.
Wasn't Upshaw using that when he won the tour event? I've seen that.
Yes. Yeah, it's a football style Ned Rig head, and I hate to let the cat out of the bag, guys, but that's the cat's pajamas.
Doesn't it have a different style hook in it too? It's not a round bend, is it?
No, it's like it's our version of the crappie hook. It's sick, man. When you hook them, they don't come off.
No, that's the real deal.
Yeah.
I've seen those. I'm like, ooh, like you when you see one and you're like, ooh, that looks good.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks good.
That's the deal. That's the deal. And so that was it basically. And I think the big to do at ICAST this year obviously was a trolling motor unveil. So yeah, there you go.
All right, man. Remainder of the season, Red Crest, Cup events. You're going to stay busy all the way through probably November, aren't you?
Jeffries, we are going to stay fishing busy. Still have a lot of fishing ahead of us, and then we're going to try to jump in some coastas and
great.
see what we can get done there.
You gonna give me a chance? Double or nothing? $10. Next one we're in together.
Absolutely. Bring it. I'll bring this signed $5 bill from you, and we'll go to it. We'll see.
What are you fishing? You fishing Grand Costa or Lake of the Ozarks or both?
I'm going to try to fish them both, but for sure Grand. I really like Ozarks. I've gained a new respect for that lake, and I really think it's a great fishery. So I look forward to getting up there.
All right, well, I got a fighting chance on Grand, I think. A fighting chance.
He's got a really good chance, especially since those fish have not been touched hardly.
Yeah, but what's happening
season.
before that is like Armageddon on Grand with the Bassmaster Open and the Nichols Championship and then the Costa and then the Skeeter Championship and then I think the Southside Hookers have a championship there. But anyway, yeah.
Grand needed this. They needed it for a great spawn and a great survival rate of the hatch. I think that in a couple of years we'll see a tremendous gain in that lake just because of the flooding.
So clearly, your biggest thing is the $10 bet with me at Grand. That's
yeah. Can you add that? Did you add that to the back of the winnings? That you
the extra $5. The extra $5.
Jeez.
Guys, I've really enjoyed being on your show. I've enjoyed our friendship over the years and the development, and it's really cool for you guys to be able to kind of document the road that we've come up. And ultimately, I just want to say thank you to you guys, to the Bass Pro Tour. Major League Fishing, that for giving me the opportunity to come over and compete with the greatest group of anglers that's ever been assembled. And I am passionate about what I do, and I told you guys this off the air that if I lose a fish, I'm liable to say something that's off color. I might say a cuss word, guys. I might do that. I might jump up and down. I mean, I'm passionate. I care, and we talked about this, last time about, golf, because we bring in golf. We all watch golf. And you watch somebody miss a hole and he's just like, man, shucks, shakes his head and hits it. And everybody gives their little golf clap and he goes to the next one. It's fun to watch. You're like, dang, he missed. But you watch the guy who misses something that he should have made, and then he does something ridiculous, not like an Ellie ridiculous, but ridiculous. You're like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, come on. That guy's a little more fun to watch for me personally. I'm going to watch that guy because you never know what the next thing he's going to say or do if one jumps off or whatever. And that's not outlandish, but I'm passionate. And I think that we need more of that in the sport of bass fishing over the just, oh, shucks, we lost another one. It's good. It's fine. There's nothing. That's all. But that's just my perspective. I think that with the way that the world is changing and the way that things are perceived, and I'm not saying that we should promote cussing. I'm not saying we should promote, but we all have feelings. Everybody's dad. Did your dad bust your hiney when you were a kid, Matthew?
If you ask Mark, not enough. But yeah, I got the spatula.
Hey, dude, so I got to go out and pick the limb.
So that's what I'm saying. So Jeffrey's like, your dad, like, boy, get out there. And you had emotion. Your dad had emotion. He wasn't just, now, son, this is going to hurt you more than me and smack you around. And now it's okay. Now, no, there's emotion. Dad, don't hit me. Whatever. Like, we need to express, I feel like we need to express that more in what we do, so people truly understand that fishing is not just such a dry atmosphere, because what we do is extremely competitive. We're competing for a lot of money, a prestigious title at every single event, and against the greatest group of anglers ever assembled. Shucks, I mean, I'm very grateful and humble to do that, but I'm still very passionate, and I will express my passion, and hopefully the people who see that understand it and know that that's how it is. So, I mean, that's one of the big things that I wanted to share is, Matthew, you have emotions. When you break one off, lose them in an event, and you're fishing for, it doesn't matter if you're fishing for $5 against me or if you're fishing for 50,000 at an event, you're going to get upset about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, the difference is we got cameras in our faces, guys, and you're going to get to see the real side of everybody that's out there. And some guys are really like that. Some guys are really passionate. And some guys are really just so calm and cool, collective and mellow that nothing rattles them. And it's not that you're being rattled. It's just that you're letting out that vent of frustration or whatever. And then you go on to the next one. Doesn't mean that you're rattled for the rest of the day or the rest of the event. You put it behind you and go catch the next fish.
Two words. Woody Austin. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
You know what I'm talking about, Jeff Sprague?
No, I don't. What is that?
Woody Austin missed a putt he should have and then bent his putter over his head.
Yeah.
No.
It's the most famous putt on the PGA.
But here's the deal. You know who Woody Austin is. Now I know who Woody Austin is. I'm not going to forget, and I was reading. So we all know Randy Flowers deal, whatever. Anybody that's been up on Facebook somebody was getting beat up by Randy Flowers, and somebody went on there and said, hey, negative publicity is still good publicity. They know who you are, so on and so forth, to this guy who was, being, heckled a little bit by Randy Flowers. And that's the truth, man. If you go back and read and you look at any of these events, you look at your guys who have had, negative publicity, whether it's so minor or so big. And you have to remember, in the fishing industry, we've got to find something sometimes to make something out of. And I feel like that, maybe we blew this up a little more than what it possibly could have and should have been. But I stand behind what I say today, and ultimately I'm grateful to be there, and I promise you that I'll put my best foot forward and continue the path that's laid out for us. And I'm just I just want everybody to know that we're all human.
You gotta Google it.
Yeah.
Woody Austin putter. It'll pop
I will.
up.
Yeah.
I will.
It's epic.
All right, Jeff, man. Can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day. Great job this season. And as always, you're welcome here anytime, man.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate everything from day one up to current. You guys are awesome as always. And maybe, Jeffries, you lend some money over there to Matthew so we can have a good bet.
I need $10.
All right, good stuff.
I will not be able to pay you back.
So much.
All right, take care, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right, there you have it, Jeff Sprague. Really good stuff explaining the situation. All right, kind of a unique situation. We had to go an hour early tomorrow.
Both have doctor's appointments.
I know,
today.
it's quite bizarre.
You have two, right?
I have two.
And I have one. 3 doctor's appointments between the two of us. Mine's just an annual checkup.
Yeah. I've got to show you. I want to wrap up the show. I've got to show you something that a fan sent me. I have no idea how they found it, how they got it, but it was 45 years ago. 45 years ago. And all I want you to do right now, and we're going to wrap up this show, is read the headline.
Jeffries, Launder, and Baker earn JAT crowns at Regal.
Yeah, that was my very first tournament win at 12 years old in bowling.
The Junior Amateur Tour held its first tournament of the winter season at Regal Lanes October 30th. We regret the scores and details were not available at press time last week. The following were the finals. In the mini tour division, Mark Jeffries was the winner.
Yeah.
Defeating Chuck Lowe. Ed Fall was third. Chuck Smith was fourth. Rick Jermick was fifth.
Yeah. That is just, it's mind-boggling that somebody found that and sent it to me.
How did they find that?
I have no idea.
It's like a cutout.
Yeah.
What year was it? How long
45
ago?
years ago.
In Orange, California.
Yeah.
So you were 11.
11 or 12.
Were you an angry 12-year-old? Like, did you pout when you lost and stuff?
No.
Did you celebrate? That's the big question. Did you celebrate this win? I bet you over-celebrated this junior title, Jeffries.
I did celebrate my win on that one. I remember that.
Junior bowling 40 years ago.
45, dude. That is just so... The person that sent that to me...
Is that the same person that continually sends Hot Wheels photos of redhead kids from the 60s going, is this you? Is this you? I love it.
That was awesome. When I got that, I mean, I was smiling ear to ear. I I don't have any of my stuff when I was a kid.
Now that you're making the, can I walk off screen for a second and grab something? I want to show.
We'll do it tomorrow.
I want to show these off. We got time. It's.
What are you doing? I don't even, folks. I have no idea what he's doing. What are you doing? What are you doing?
What the heck is this?
That's part of the arsenal right there.
Do bowlers get a lot of hernias? Holy cow. This is one. If you are watching on iTunes, I just picked up lower back issues. This is one of 3 bags of bowling balls that Jeffries has over there, along with kangaroo skin bowling shoes.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what is this equivalent to in 40. Fishing? Is this tackle? Is this rod and reels?
No, it's rod and reels.
So this is rod and reels.
Yeah.
So are these like the black ice?
Yeah, I would say that.
Did you have to pay for these, or are you pulling sponsor strings out? You're pulling sponsor strings on the bowling side, and you haven't even made the senior tour?
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
What'd you turn that article in and say, I don't know if you know this, guys, but when I was 11...
No, I just got that.
I was the junior grand champ, and they were like, we'll send him 10 balls.
A big shout out to Anne-Marie Dugan, the Hall of Famer. She is the pro shop owner.
Now you're name dropping. You get free equipment and name dropping now.
Drilled those out for me, set it up, lined it up for me.
I'm impressed. So what's the difference in the balls?
All kinds of stuff, dude. I don't want to bore people.
Is it just like fishing? Like you got your flipping stick, your spinning rod, your utility.
It's all about the conditions. I mean, you're not going to throw a DD22 if you're fishing shallow.
You have not talked about your bowling on air at all. Your bowling. No. I mean, your bowling. You talk about bowling a lot.
Yeah.
How many games a day?
Well, right now I'm trying to get 30 in a week.
5 days a week.
Yeah. Yeah, 6 a day.
They just keep a lane open for you.
Yeah, pretty much. Sometimes I can. I mean, because they've got this thing going on, Kids Bowl free during the summer.
Are you passionate? Like, have you found like
dude? I was shooting
passion?
video, breaking down my game.
I know, but I mean, are you enjoying it? I mean, this is something. How long? Okay, I waited like 10, 12 years to take the fishing seriously, and I'm taking the fishing seriously this year. How long has it been in the back of your head?
No, when I first graduated from college, it's what I wanted to do. Hell, we can go in and grab my yearbook from high school, and it says occupation or what you want to be or whatever it said. It said professional bowler. I mean, that's what I wanted to do.
Took over.
The golden handcuffs shackled me, and
so during 25 years at UPS, how often?
It was a passing thought.
But how often did it pass? Was it every week thing?
Nah.
Like, I wish I'd bowled.
No, I was totally entrenched in the corporate world, dude. It was all about starting at the bottom and working your way up.
How much of this senior tour was a catalyst when you qualified for the Senior Olympics?
0. Nothing. And I'll tell you, what's driving this whole thing, Matthew, is my health. Mm-hmm. It's a way for me to somewhat stay in shape, take care of my body. I'm trying to battle this somewhat just bizarre disease that I have.
You are in really good shape and health.
Yeah. So I felt that this was a way to keep me motivated, keep me in shape, and at the same time, hell, there's no money in it. You win a senior tour, you know how much money you win? You win like $8,000. I mean, there is no money. Yeah, there's no money in it.
That's not bad.
I think they pay 24 spots.
That's more than a BFL.
Yeah. But
that's like winning 2 BFL. What's the entry fee?
Like $400.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
$400 or $500.
Are you going to join a league around here then?
I don't know. I've been asked already. So I don't know. A lot of it depends on what night because of basketball and stuff.
Well, when are you going to take me bowling?
Well, we'll do that, dude. We'll do that. When I get back from New York, just have plans to stay a little bit longer and we'll go. You'll probably kick my ass. Hell, you beat me in everything else.
Oh, that's wow. Well, I don't have a drilled out ball. I just pick one that
I could hook you up, man.
I just pick one where it doesn't look like someone who ate nacho cheese bowled with it.
I could hook you up on that. No, it's really been good for me, and it's all about my health. It really is. So the other stuff, and hell, I may not even do it.
Well,
I
that's
may not
cool.
even
I mean,
get
it's
there.
kind of the same. We got a lot of viewers. We'll get emails from guys who are like, hey, I was out of the game for 20 years. I got back into it. I drive a lot, and I listen to your podcast. It helps me kind of get up with current. So I'm happy for you. Man.
Yeah, it would be cool to win like even a club tournament and a bowling tournament in the same year. How cool would that be?
Yeah.
I've never done that.
Well,
I
you
would
gotta
love to
fish
do that.
again. So
Well, I mean, I'm
a club
getting
tournament.
back into that a little bit.
Boats
you
all
know?
rigged out.
Yeah. So we'll see. 2020 is going to be a great year for us, both of us. All right. A lot of things are going to happen. A lot of good stuff going on.
Big thanks
so.
to Jeff Sprague. A very candid
Absolutely.
interview.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
was
what I
good
did.
stuff.
I just walked up to him and I was like, all right, please tell me this wasn't exactly how it looked. And then I was like, okay, well, you can come on and explain that. I think that's good stuff.
Yeah. All right. Tomorrow, back to our usual time, 8:30 a.m. Central Time. We're going to have Michael Neal on, top 5 finish in the AOY standings on the BPT.
You go through Michael Neal's stats, and they're remarkably similar to Jeff Sprague's.
Yeah,
I mean, that guy's been a couple
great
casts
season.
away from a title, a business owner. The dude's still in his 20s. He has caught them since the time he picked up a rod and reel.
Yeah, a heck of a miniature golfer, too.
Unfortunately.
We'll talk about that. All right, folks, have a great Tuesday. Matt and I will be back tomorrow at our regular time, 8:30 a.m. Central Time. The replay will be out there soon. Make sure, folks, it helps us out immensely. You know, we're almost to 500 ratings on iTunes.
Why don't you do a giveaway?
I might do that when I get back from New York. But for now, if you have not done a review and rated us on iTunes, if you're listening on iTunes, please do that for us. Be honest. Hopefully we are doing everything that we can to make this show even better.
Did you see the last rating that we got?
I did. I got a chuckle out of that.
Learned more about bowling than I ever thought I would.
He gave us 5 stars, so.
That's all that counts.
All right, we're doing good stuff. All right, Matthew, great show. Back tomorrow, Michael Neal. Everybody, we're out of here.